All right. All right. Tonight, I'm going to do something a little new for me, a little different. I'm not just playing video games, although we will get to that, and video games will be involved. Tonight, I really want to talk about this mysterious Combat Evolved remake. Kind of what we know, what I think it's going to be, and what I think it should be. Because I've seen a lot about it, and I kind of just want to put my stake in the ground for what I think that's going to look like. All right, I made us a whole little slide deck to go through, like I'm a real professional guy. Even though I couldn't be a less professional guy if I tried. There we go. I don't know what that one is. That's just going to be down there, I guess. All right. So yeah, Halo Combat Evolved is probably getting a remake. Every time I say that to someone who is not clued in to what's going on with Halo, and like, I don't blame them. You shouldn't be. It's painful. Every time I tell that to someone, they're like, "Didn't we do that like 10 years ago?" And the answer to that, of course, is yes. They definitely did do that about 15 years ago. But they're doing it again. They're doing it again. And they're working on a bunch of Halo stuff right now. So I want to talk about, on Friday, we're gonna finally see maybe what they've been working on. This is not the song. Maybe this is the song to accompany this. It's maybe too much. There we go. But yeah, my microphone is like way too close to my face. Mic is great, but I've had it for a few months and it's starting to grow a mind of its own. But yeah, everyone I tell this to, they're like, "Did they do that?" And it's like, yeah, they did. So to talk about, before we get into the specifics, let's talk about kind of where we're at with Halo, with what's going on with the people making Halo, and what Halo's been for the last few years. So 343 Industries, who's been in charge of Halo for the last 15 years, has been complete trash for the last 15 years. I think I'm comfortable saying at this point that not a single one of their releases is good without qualifications. I can't say that any of them are good without saying, well, it's good, but something, right? They've been kind of messing it up, not doing the right, not doing how they should do it, for 15 years. This is the entire time they've had control over it. Bungie handed over control of everything in about 2010, midway through the support period for Halo Reach. And yeah, it didn't, hasn't been good, hasn't really been good ever since. 343 doesn't really get it. They never really got it. 4 was at best inoffensive, at worst just not Halo. 5 was complete disaster. I've played it once, have zero desire to ever go back to it again. I'm shocked at the people who, like, it's about to be the 10th anniversary of Halo 5, and they're like, "Oh, well, the multiplayer was really great." And like, man, I don't know that we played the same game. The footage looks the same, but I think we had different experiences, because I cannot get that thought in my head at all. And then Infinite, I think Infinite, like, at this point, Halo Infinite is like pretty good. But because of the way it launched, it was just never going to be great. You're never going to fix a game like that while it's live and make it something like really great. I think you get one of those, like, a generation. We're still kind of new to games being able to be, like, updated and, like, drastically changed over their lifetimes, while it's accessible to players. And Infinite was never going to be No Man's Sky. They were never going to No Man's Sky it. I think it's pretty good now, but like, it's pretty good, especially considering it's free. Like, if you don't spend money on it, I think it's like actually a really really kind of impressive how much of it you can, or how much you can get out of that game for nothing. I think that's pretty cool. But it launched, it was a complete disaster. I don't know how many people who watched this were around for that time, but it was dire. Does anybody remember? I want to say it was like 2 or 3 weeks in, like post launch, and the state of Big Team was so bad. Like the matchmaking system couldn't consistently put you into games, right? So it would just not do that. It would kick you out of the queue after like a few minutes of waiting. And that it was so bad and it was so consistent that they just turned Big Team off for like 2 weeks. Completely inaccessible. Like one of like 3 matchmaking playlists was completely inaccessible for like 2 weeks. Oh boy. What a nightmare. But yeah, so like that's kind of what we've been dealing with the last few years. Infinite launched in 2021. It's been 4 years now. What is today? Yeah, today's the 21st. So it's been just over 4 years since Infinite's multiplayer launched in beta, ahead of its November whatever slated launch. And Infinite's been they've been working on it over the last couple of years. I mentioned that it was like it's kind of good now. It is kind of good now. It took a long time to get there. Part of what got them there is there's a big leadership shakeup in 2023. I think the running theory for that is that Microsoft or Xbox got tired of how bad Infinite was, and like it wasn't generating money, it wasn't doing well. Just like culturally, nobody cared about it. Nobody knew what it was for years. You know, like at this point, it's 2 years post launch. This is like the end of 2023. So and they were not, there weren't results. So a lot of longtime 343 leadership got canned or demoted or something. And at this point, by the beginning of 2024, there were all new people, not new people to the studio. I think for the most part they were hired, they were promoted internally. But at this point in, late 2023, early 2024, the leadership at the studio, totally different. That can make a big difference. I always got the impression playing Infinite that at the studio there were a lot of really talented people doing the grunt work, but leadership had no vision. And you can't get anything done if nobody's really working towards a common goal, especially with how big AAA is. So the big leadership shakeup in 2023 that I actually think seemed like it went well. I mean, the only thing we really have publicly to show for that is the state of Infinite, which, like I said, over the last couple of years has gotten pretty good. And all of the updates this year have been like legitimately pretty impressive for how little people, how few resources they actually have available to Infinite development. We got new weapon variants, whole new weapon, new vehicle, and maps and stuff, and modes, most of which are Forge creations to some degree. And you can tell playing it, like Forge maps look pretty good in Infinite, but like you can tell. They just don't, you can tell looking at them. And then, so HCS Worlds, so I didn't really establish this at the top. The reason I'm talking about this is on Friday, they will kick off HCS Worlds 2025, which, in case you don't know, is the World Championship sort of culmination event of the Halo competitive series for the year. So all the big teams are playing, their last matches of this season, which I should say at the moment, I don't think that there are any public plans for HCS stuff going into 2026. Which is pretty strange. Like, we don't really know what's going to be happening with Halo next year. Part of the reason for that, though, is they are saying that they're going to be announcing something pretty big at HCS Worlds this year, which is this weekend, as I'm speaking to you now. But last year at HCS Worlds, they had a big rebrand. New name, they're Halo Studios now. They're not 343 Industries, which I'm kind of in two minds about. One, if that leadership shakeup in 2023 is actually representative of a real change, which There's some evidence to say that it is. There's some evidence to say that it isn't. We'll get to that in a minute. But if that is actually representative of change, then a name change seems appropriate, to like communicate to the broader gaming audience that that things are going to be different with Halo now. It's also very unfortunate because if Halo had maintained its cultural relevance post Halo 3, post Halo Reach, into the 343 era, they could have kept that 343 name because, I mean, if you've played any of the original trilogy of Halo games, you know who 343 Guilty Spark is. Like, that's not... He's a pretty main character in those games. But in 2025, nobody cares enough about Halo to know who 343 Guilty Spark is. So 343 Industries means nothing to anyone. Halo Studios very clearly communicates, oh, this is the company that makes Halo games. Makes sense. Kind of unfortunate that they have to call themselves that to make sure that anybody knows that that's what they do. But whatever. It might be representative of real change at the studio level. Might be. Part of this also was an engine change. So Halo has always run in the proprietary engine that Bungie built that is called Blam internally. But it's the Halo engine. I think that Destiny runs on a fork of Blam. I'm not 100% sure on that, though. I don't really follow Destiny. But either way, Halo has always run on the Blam engine. Halo Infinite ran on a fork or a what was kind of meant to be Blam 2, which they called Slipspace. Complete disaster, nightmare. And now they're just moving over to Unreal. When they first announced, which officially they announced last year that they're switching to Unreal, but it had been known in the community that they'd been working on switching to Unreal for a number of years by that point. With that engine change, a lot of people were worried. It's like, oh, it's not going to feel like Halo. It's not going to look like Halo if it's an Unreal 5. And on one hand, like, Unreal... we're not in the Unreal 3 days anymore where everything just feels like Gears of War or Unreal Tournament. Like, Unreal 5 is, like, really malleable. I'm not really concerned about a talented group of developers making a game that feels like Halo within Unreal. I think that that's fine. But it does mean that it's going to run like garbage. Like, I'm not worried about the gameplay being bad. I'm worried about performance being terrible. I fully expect that I will be playing new Halo games at launch on, like, DLSS performance mode, playing games at sub 720p, just praying for 60 frames a second on my, admittedly, a couple of generations behind. I have a 30 series GPU, but most games don't run that poorly. Unless they're on Unreal 5, and I just expect that this new Halo stuff will probably run like garbage. And part of the engine change, part of the name change announcement was also a tease at a Combat Evolved remake. To this point, we still don't have actual official confirmation of a Combat Evolved remake, which feels weird because to me it feels like a given. Like, that's obviously what they're doing, right? They're working on a Combat Evolved remake, they're working on a live service multiplayer thing, and they're working on Halo 7, like, all sort of concurrently. That's just like common knowledge in the community, but if we look at, like, official announcements, none of that is confirmed. Who knows what they're going to announce on Friday? But they very heavily teased a Combat Evolved remake. On the right there, I've got a screenshot of one of the little vignettes that they showed. The sort of their early testing visual stuff in Unreal. I don't really know what the point of this was, but they just showed this, like, look, this is an Unreal. We made Halo. We made Halo assets for the Unreal Engine. But, you notice, you look at it, it's the Mark V armor, it's the Halo 1 Magnum, it's a really Halo 1 looking Elite. Why would they be making these really high quality, like, in the videos they really zoom in on these really high quality, high fidelity new assets if they weren't going to be used in a game? Seems like it would be a Combat Evolved remake. There is more evidence to suggest that it's a Combat Evolved remake, but this was the first time that we saw remade Combat Evolved stuff, Halo 1 stuff, in any kind of official capacity. And this was last year at Worlds. Yeah, and then there's leaks and rumors about this mystery announcement on Friday. So at the moment, sort of the rumor is that Combat Evolved Remake is about to come out. It's being made by the people who made the Oblivion remake, or co-developed by the people who made the Oblivion remake. We'll get to that in a minute. In addition to that, there's another group of people. I believe Certain Affinity is still the people working on this, a sort of evergreen competitive multiplayer component. So the Combat Evolved remake will not have competitive multiplayer of any kind. It'll just be campaign and fingers crossed co-op. That's no guarantee with these people. But yeah, Certain Affinity is working on like a competitive free-to-play live service multiplayer thing that'll like tie into the various campaign games that come out in the future, but is very much going to be its own thing, which like I think is fine. It's like basically already how games that come out with like a multiplayer and a campaign component work anyway. Like they have to decouple them at some point. Why not just start that way and let the campaigns kind of be their own finished things separate from the ongoing updated live service component? I actually think that's completely fine. I think that's a decent way to do it if they want to do it that way. I think that's a, like maybe each game could have its own multiplayer like the good old days, but it seems like we don't get that anymore. So instead they just have a sort of live service hub game that the more bespoke story narrative experiences kind of hook into. I think that's fine. There's also a couple other things at the moment. This music is appropriate. That's funny. Yeah, Dust and Echoes is how it feels. Two major leaders from Halo Studios quit recently, like within the last couple of weeks, I think, at the time of I'm saying this, is in the last couple of weeks. One of them posted something very cryptic on social media that would suggest that things are not going great internally at Halo Studios. I'll just leave it at that for this. Rumor is, speculation is that it's related to mandatory AI use. It's Microsoft. They just spent $80 billion on AI data centers and development, and they've got to justify that cost somehow by forcing employees to use it to develop software and communicate with each other. That's how you know something's a really great tool, is if you have to tell technicians, you have to make technicians use it. That's how you know you've made a really good tool, right? So yeah, that's not great. There's also some other evidence that I didn't feel like including in this that might suggest all is not well internally at Halo Studios, and maybe that name change was just a name change and 343 is just gonna be 343. It is what it is. So yeah, let's talk worst case scenario. So here's what I think worst case scenario for a Combat Evolved remake looks like. It's a faithful remake. Now, people are going to get mad about that. People are going to get mad. They want a faithful remake. Everybody thinks they want a faithful remake. But ask yourself this. Do you think that 343 or Halo Studios, as they call themselves now, is capable of making something that exceeds Halo 1? Like, do we think the Combat Evolved remake, whatever it ends up being, is going to be better than the original 2001 game? I would say almost certainly not. Whatever it is that they come out with, it's not going to be as good as Combat Evolved. So if what you say you want is a faithful remake, then you want a game that hews very close to Combat Evolved, but it's worse. And to me, that doesn't make any sense. And also think about this. Combat Evolved is a very, very accessible game in a lot of ways. It's really cheap. It's $10 on Steam. And it'll run on anything, so it's accessible in that it's cheap, and accessible as in it'll run on like any computer hardware. It's not a very difficult game to get running, and the gameplay is really accessible in that it plays remarkably similarly to modern shooters. A lot of reasons for that. Not going to quite go into that here, but it plays very similarly to modern shooters. Like I think like a teenager or whatever, or when did I play Halo 1 for the first time? I think when I was like 11 or 12. I think an 11 or 12-year-old today who is like used to modern games would be able to pick up Combat Evolved like pretty well. It kind of was this blueprint for shooters for a long time, and we're still kind of in that era, just because it nailed a lot of things when it did. Like we probably would not have dual analog console shooters if not for Halo, not nearly to the capacity that we do. And so yeah, I mean, Combat Evolved is just like a really accessible game, easy to run, very cheap, easy to play. So the comparison is always going to be there, and it's not going to be a favorable comparison. No matter what they make, it's not going to be a favorable comparison. So I feel like the worst thing they can do is make something that is very close to Combat Evolved and really invites that comparison. Like if you can go side by side with the whole game, you know, it's like CE Anniversary. It's like if you can go side by side by the whole game, it's really easy to tell how much worse the new game is. It's really easy to tell how much worse the new game is. So I would say like a really faithful remake is probably is worst case scenario there. Yeah, very little change to gameplay, mechanics, mission story is kind of what I'm talking about. It shouldn't be that similar. If it's that similar, then why play the new one? The new one's not going to be as good. High fidelity but boring visuals. You know, think Combat Evolved Anniversary. Technically high fidelity, but it's higher fidelity assets being thrown into a game where they don't belong. Just kind of being cobbled together where they don't belong. Basically just Combat Evolved Anniversary again. Yeah, I think there is there's a reasonable chance that this is what we're going to get in probably next year when the Combat Evolved remake comes out. But notice that my worst case isn't a disaster. It's that it's boring and kind of pointless. I think that remaking Combat Evolved could balloon in scope. It certainly could, but I don't think that it will. I think it's a pretty constrained project. It's you know, a handful of missions and some non-interactive narrative bits and some kind of interactive narrative bits, and maybe co-op multiplayer if they feel like it, and no competitive multiplayer, no live service. You know, this is not a platform that they're going to develop on top of for years and years and years. It's just a single campaign, maybe hopefully with co-op. So I think the odds, even if things are not going great at Halo Studios, I think the odds that it's a complete disaster are pretty low. I honestly think this, like, realistically, probably this is worst case scenario. So in that case, what are we probably going to get? I think that if that's worst case scenario, you know, we exceed that a little bit. You know, here at Halo Studios, we exceed the worst possible case scenario by a little bit, you know. So sprint, slide, and clamber are likely. At the moment, there are leaks and rumors, I think some pretty credible leaks, that sprint is a part of the game. I am of the camp that sprint does not belong in Halo, but that ship has been sailed for like 15 years if you count Reach's iteration of sprint as including sprint in Halo, which if you've played the game, you know that it's not quite the same that it works, not quite the same way that it works now, but it is sprint in Halo. I don't think it belongs. I think it strangely slows down the gameplay. It doesn't need it. You go back and play the original trilogy, you don't miss it, and then you get it in Reach and then onward, and you use it. You know, it's there, but I don't think it adds anything of value. But sprint is almost certainly going to be a part of the CE remake. Slide and clamber, I would say, probably come with that. If I had to guess, I would say that if we're getting one of these things, we're getting all three. Probably going to have similar movement to Infinite, which, like, broadly speaking, I'm in favor of. Going to be somewhat similar in that way, I think. but minimal changes to actual level layouts and objectives. So we have a degree of confirmation that they're going to be editing the more repetitive parts of levels. Specifically pointed out was two betrayals and the library. As far as those levels are concerned, I have different questions about each one. Like, is the library going to be truncated, or are they actually going to go in and sculpt out new environments and kind of get rid of the copy and paste stuff from the original game? And then when it comes to two betrayals specifically, yeah, there's a lot of copy and paste stuff in that level, but also two betrayals is just assault on the control room backwards. So, like, is two betrayals going to be like a whole new mission, like its own actual mission now, or is it just they're getting rid of some of the copy paste geometry? There's no way to know at this point, but we might have some idea of that on Friday. But basically, you know, some combination of those things will happen. But broad strokes, it's going to play. Each mission is going to be about the same. Modern but not good visuals. I don't have any reason to think that the good people at Halo Studios really get Combat Evolved. Combat Evolved has a very unique aesthetic to it. Even among games of its era, it has a very unique vibe about it. And at the moment, I have no reason to believe that Halo Studios gets it. Again, we're getting a little closer to just CE Anniversary again. At least in the visual department, I don't think they're going to do exactly the same thing they did with CE Anniversary, where they just literally grab assets from like 3 and Reach and just kind of cram them in there along with their own stuff, and like none of it goes together. I think it will all go together, but I don't think it will. I think there will be some controversy with the visuals, and not in a good way, right? Not in a good way. I think it'll be fine. Like, honestly, like I said, worst case scenario, it's boring, right? Not a disaster. I think most likely case scenario, it'll be fine. It'll be fun. If it's not $70, I might be able to convince a couple of friends to pick it up and play through it with me. If it has co-op, I have no way of knowing. It is so wild to me that I can't really just let myself believe that there will be co-op in this Halo game. Whoops. There we go. I need to actually see my slides. But yeah, if it has co-op, I might be able to convince some friends to give it a purchase and do a playthrough, and that'll be fun. You know, if it is pretty close to the original game, I mean, I know that's a good time. But then why wouldn't I just have those people download Combat Evolved in the MCC? The people I'm thinking of right now already own the MCC on one platform or another and would be able to just play Combat Evolved co-op with me that way. So if it's that close to the original game, like why bother? Yeah, so it'll be fine, but forgettable. While I was putting this together, I reminded myself that there was an Oblivion remaster this year, and I think it's going to be like that. I think that people are going to yell about it for like a week and a half. You know, there's going to be some controversial changes. Controversial, but like ultimately inconsequential changes that people are going to yell at for like a week and a half, and then after a month or two, everyone's going to forget it existed. And then 6 or 7 months later, someone's going to go, oh yeah, didn't they remake Combat Evolved this year? And then the person talking to them will be like, oh yeah, they definitely did. And that's going to be it. You know, I think that's probably what we're looking at. But fuck all that. Fuck all that. I want to talk about what it should be. If I was in charge of this, what would I make this? So here's what it should be. Big swings creatively. I want to see crazy changes. Like, any change they make is going to be pretty controversial. So you may as well swing for the fences. Like, I'm serious. Like I don't really even want them to make Pillar of Autumn, Halo, Truth and Reconciliation, like Silent Cartographer. I don't want the original missions. I don't want none of that. I want it to be like structured differently somehow. Same broad plot and story beats and everything, but like, and I don't really even know what I mean by that. Do I mean the open world somehow? Do I mean, I don't know, like something that was thrown around before Infinite came out, and we eventually found out what that was. There was this idea that it would play a lot like Metro Exodus, where you would have these large open maps, but you'd have like a couple of objectives to do, but those maps would then end, and the story would progress, and you'd go to a new map where you would have new open world things to do. But it's not all just like one contiguous open world map, but it still kind of plays like an open world game. Turn combat evolved into one of those. I don't know, like really big swings. I wanted to. My ideal version of this is one that is like a much bigger departure than like the Resident Evil remakes, like it kind of like that, but like even further, like go crazy with it, honestly. Modern gameplay. So like my kind of thought, if I was in charge of making this, if I was the creative director for the Combat Evolved remake, my thought would be this. This is introducing like what games made under the Halo Studios banner will be like, and we want to prove to people that they're going to be different. But crucially, we want to prove to people, like, we want to show people what those are going to look like. And I think that a great way to do that would be to remake the first game, but with the kind of gameplay, level design, ethos of what Halo games will look like going into the future. To use Combat Evolved as like this base to show what Halo games are going to look like for the next several years. So when I say modern gameplay, I talked before about how like sprint, slide, clamber are probably going to be in it. We definitely have those. Sprint, slide, clamber, curb slide. Honestly, just port Infinite's core gameplay into Combat Evolved remake. I think that would be completely fine. Sprint, slide, clamber, curb slide, equipment, grappling hooks, the system where you have a button where you can switch seats in a vehicle, that's huge. Like every little mechanical interaction that Infinite has, just put them all in there. The cool little bounce back that characters do when they melee each other. Modern gameplay. And whatever modern gameplay looks like, part of the reason I say that too is I think you would want this to play like that ongoing live service multiplayer component, right? This game specifically will not have its own competitive multiplayer, but there will be competitive multiplayer that will kind of tie into this, and I think it would be really smart of them to build this in such a way that it's like this gets ready for what Halo, I would call it Halo Infinite, because that would be a really good title for what it seems like they're making over there. But whatever this next Halo competitive multiplayer thing is going to look like, this should play like that, to give everybody a chance to like try it out, give feedback, and improve whatever we eventually get. And one more thing about that too. So I'm going to put my stake in the ground here. I'm expecting that competitive multiplayer component to come out much later. The idea right now is that we're only going to see CE Remake, and we're not going to see anything else. Maybe we'll get a hint about the multiplayer, or Halo 7 or something. But I'm expecting a minimum of 6 months between Combat Evolved Anniversary coming out and this competitive multiplayer component coming out. I'm expecting about that length of time. And in that time, it'll be in a weird place where the most up-to-date, like, recent Halo campaign experience will be Combat Evolved Remake. But the most recent, most up-to-date competitive multiplayer thing will be Infinite still, for like 6 months. And this remake is going to kind of bridge the gap between the different generations of Halo multiplayer. And I do also think it would be weird if this didn't kind of play like Infinite. Like, even if the new multiplayer doesn't really, like, it would be weird if the current multiplayer and the current campaign don't really play anything like each other. So yeah, modern gameplay in my head is basically just because Infinite Sandbox is actually very smartly designed. Like when you really dig down into the bones of the design of it, is actually really smart in the way that it has compromises between. I could talk about this all night, but in the way that it compromises between like all previous Halo games. Like it has sprint, which I'm not a huge fan of, but the sprint isn't as disruptive as it could be and is in other games, other Halo games with sprint, right? Like I think the infinite sprint is a really good compromise between me, someone who understands what makes Halo good, and kids who don't. And in that same vein, like the equipment system is really smart in the way that it kind of bridges all of the different fourth pillar elements that Halo games have had since 3. Like every Halo game since 3 has attempted some kind of fourth pillar to the golden triangle, which you hear about a lot. Equipment, armor abilities, advanced movement, all this kind of stuff. Infinite's equipment system, like near perfectly kind of bridges the gaps between all of them. I think it's actually really smart. But yeah, like it should just play like Infinite. Honestly, it should just play like Infinite. It should also dip really heavily into cut content. So Combat Evolved had a lot of cut content. Every Halo game has had... What are you doing? Every Halo game has had trouble development. Combat Evolved is no different. There's documentaries and documentaries about the development of Combat Evolved, but the most important thing about that is that there was a lot of stuff on the cutting room floor. I think there were 20 or more missions originally planned, and that got cut down to the number that we got, which is, 11? And then even within that, like half of those missions are just previous missions backwards. So like, if we about, each one of those 20 missions was a fully unique mission, we only got about, I don't know, a third to half of what was originally planned. I'm sure there's cool stuff in there. There's got to be documentation, maybe some mock-ups of what those missions would have been. Let's dip really heavily into that, I don't want it to be the exact same missions presented in the same way as Combat Evolved did in 2001. And so, like, that's just missions, though. Like, there were cut enemy types, there were cut weapons, cut vehicles. There was supposed to be endemic life on the ring, which is something that Bungie eventually got to do in Reach, but never before and hasn't since. It was planned for Infinite's campaign, but Infinite was a disaster, complete disaster to develop. And so that didn't end up happening there. I want to see Alpha Halo with these weird little two-legged tusked creatures running around, as well as other things. That's not true. Infinite has birds, I think. I think Infinite still has birds. It's been a while since I've played that campaign. I think it has birds, but that's it. This also could and should be like a lore reset. So in 343's tenure, over the last 15 years, they've made a lot of admittedly big swings. We praise the big swings in changing Halo lore and Halo story. Like they've added a lot of weird elements into Halo, into the universe over the last 15 years, and honestly, I would be in favor of just scrapping all of it, trash everything, 4 or 5 and Infinite, and just declaring the books non-canon and kind of starting over, at least starting over within the Bungie continuity. As far as I'm concerned, everything that came out from 343 is like kind of its own continuity anyway, because of the biggest lore change that they made going into Halo 4, which was deciding that Forerunners were not actually ancient humans anymore and were their own distinct race, which like kind of ruins a lot of the like really neat thematic elements in the original trilogy. It's also like in no uncertain terms explicitly stated that in the original trilogy, Forerunners were ancient humans. Like, humans built the rings and fired the rings and reseeded the galaxy and made... I'm sorry, I need to let the cat out of the room. Yeah, he was about to start screaming. But humans were the ones that built and fired the Halo rings. So, you know, there's a lot of really interesting, like, cyclical, almost like Eastern philosophical elements. I'm sorry, I've had a couple of drinks. there's a little bit of, like, Eastern philosophy about, like, cyclical time in there. And then, like, the great irony of the Covenant is that, you know, they worship the Forerunners as gods, and yet they are trying to wipe out humanity, who are just the same beings that they worshipped, but just now. So, like, there's this, like, great irony, a lot of thematic elements that tie into humans and Forerunners being the same thing. And then Halo 4, they were kind of just like, nah, we don't like that. We don't really understand all that thematic stuff. We think it's cooler and more generic sci-fi if instead the Forerunners are big alien monsters with 6 fingers and no noses. We actually think that's better. And in fact, we're going to show one on screen, and the first thing that he's going to say is the Forerunners have returned, which is the most insane thing for him to say, because why would he call himself a Forerunner? Like, what is he running a for? He's here now. He's not a Forerunner. Why would he even know to call himself that? It's completely insane. It's a completely insane thing to have him say. Anyway, like, going even further off in this, I would be completely fine with Halo 7 campaign starting, and it's just Chief and Cortana on the Forward Unto Dawn, immediately following Halo 3, and we just don't really address 4, 5, and Infinite. You know, there's some things that I like about 4, 5, and Infinite, but honestly, I would happily watch it all just kind of, like, get kind of ignored. Like, I really like the core trio of characters in Infinite, the Chief, the pilot, and the weapon. I think that they're really fun, the way they bounce off of each other, but those elements could be brought in some other way. Yeah, so, like, but going back to CE allows them to, like, kind of reset things, reboot things, and also say, again, in no uncertain terms, if they follow the original script, they will have to do this. Say in no uncertain terms that humans and Forerunners are the same thing. You know, like, at the moment, I think at the moment the original trilogy is actually fundamentally incompatible with modern Halo lore. Like, and I know there's books. I'm not reading the modern Halo books. I'm not doing that. I'm sure some of them are great. Some people say that some of them are great. I'm here for the video games, and I enjoy some of the supplementary materials, but I don't need that to enjoy the video games, and I think that they overcomplicated the video games by changing the books from supplemental material into required reading to understand what's going on. But yeah, this gives them the opportunity to kind of undo all of the 343 era stuff if they really want to do that, and I would love it. That's what I think they should do. Wow, that went into a lot. We're talking story changes. So this one's a little bit more granular. Like I said earlier, I think that, like, broad strokes, everything should, all the main, like, we got to hit all the main Combat Evolved beats, you know. Pillar of Autumn crash landing on Halo, Truth and Reconciliation, you know, you got to rescue Keys, you got to get to the control room, yada, 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 Flood, get out, got to blow it up and escape. But I just mean, you know, we could add elements from later Halo games, you know, kind of sprinkle in things that they were not thinking about when they made Combat Evolved. The one that I would actually really enjoy is turning the Arbiter, or as he was only known at the time, Thel Vidam, into kind of an antagonist character, almost like an Escharum in Infinite. You know, I don't think he should be there taunting you all the time, but give him a presence, you know. His whole thing in Halo 2 is that he was kind of leading Covenant forces on Halo and failed, and that's what leads to him becoming the Arbiter. So why not have him and Chief have a, like cross paths, have like a quick run in, and then have some cutaway scenes between missions where we see Thelvadam, future Arbiter, go like, why can't I stop him? Why can't I beat him? And like trying to reorganize forces and trying to come up with plans that ultimately fail. Until the very end, where Chief is flying away in the longsword, and then we cut to a scene of, Thelvadam, future Arbiter, in a Covenant carrier, or even just like a Phantom, escaping, like all battered and bruised. His armor is messed up, and like and he has like a handful of like elites and grunts with him, and that's it. Those are all he was able to get together to escape, and then headed towards High Charity, for where we pick up in Halo 2. These are the sorts of things I would add story-wise to the Combat Evolved campaign if I was remaking it. And then, of course, like I said, structurally, I think it could be totally different, and that would matter story-wise, I think. And then, of course, you gotta have new visuals, but that are also accurate to the old vibes. And I don't know exactly how you achieve this, if I'm completely honest with you, because I do think that a lot of what makes Combat Evolved work is a very, very, like, trapped in amber like the moment that Halo was developed in is really important to its vibe, and I think that would be really difficult to recreate with like modern artistic sensibilities and like modern graphics technology. But you could do it. I think Infinite gets pretty close. The screenshot down there in the bottom right is there are moments in Infinite that are like, oh, this is just higher fidelity Combat Evolved. Like, I think that there are moments where they kind of nail it, at least in the one biome that Infinite got. I think that they did actually kind of get it. I'm not crazy about the hexagons thing, but otherwise, yeah, no, I think they kind of nailed it visually in some aspects. You see the vistas, and it's like, that does look like Halo, though, don't it? And then of course you gotta have 4-player co-op. My version of this would definitely have co-op. It would have at least 4-player co-op, because there's no reason for it to only be 2, because the only justification for it to only be 2 is that's as much as the original game had, and that's no reason to limit it in that way. Honestly, I would be happy with like going full Serious Sam, and I would love it if they went full Serious Sam and did like 32-player co-op. Like, it wouldn't work like functionally, like mechanically. You'd lose a lot of the mechanics of Halo and the sauce there. But having like 16, 24, 32 chiefs running around, I would really enjoy that. If I was in charge, I would be pushing for those limits to be pushed up a little bit. Because this is kind of like pie in the sky for me. Is like these stuff, the big swings, modern gameplay, a lot of cut content, totally new structure, lore reset, story changes. All this stuff is like, I don't know how many resources they're really devoting to this project, but it's not unlimited, is it? It's probably going to be less than we would like. So just keeping all that in mind, we're definitely not getting this. We're getting this. We're probably getting this. Sprint, side, and clamber, the missions are going to be basically the same, broadly, or maybe even specifically. It's not going to be the same geometry, but they're going to play about the same. I would want to see the fight at the beginning of Silent Cartographer expanded a little bit. Like, if we're looking for like little changes that I'd like them to make that I think are realistic, and it'll be fine. But this is what I want. This is what I would love for them to do. But that's all I've got. This went a lot longer than I meant it to. But I appreciate you for watching if you did watch to the end. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I am not going to be streaming the event itself because I have family in town, and I'm just kind of doing this at night after the family activities have ended. But I'll definitely be watching it. And I will have some I told you so's, I'm sure. And I'm sure I will also be surprised. See, this is the other thing. And I'm going to continue adding to the length of this, I guess. But this is the other thing. We don't know that what they're announcing. Like, if we only look at what has been officially stated, we know very little about what they're going to be announcing. We don't even... I looked back through some of the Halo Studios tweets. I don't think we even know that they're going to be announcing a game. Like a video game. I don't think we even know that. We could be getting, like, a Halo chess set. You know, that they might spend a full 2 hours talking about on Friday. I don't know. Could happen. We might be getting a sequel to the Halo cookbook. I think that would be really funny. People, myself included, would kind of lose their minds, but I would enjoy that. I would think that would be really funny to watch other people also lose their minds about, like, I thought we were getting a game. We're not even getting a game. It's so over. It's so over. We're never going to be so back. I think it's probably going to be a game. I don't think that studio leadership at Halo Studios is so out of touch that they would hype up this. Like, they changed when the announcement was going to happen from the end of HCS Worlds on Sunday to the beginning on Friday, and suddenly they were very cagey about details with what was going to happen. There was going to be an announcement at like 1 Pacific, and then a deep dive on the community stage at 2 Pacific, and that's now all we know. Officially, you know, leaks and rumors have soft confirmed a number of details, but the thing about leaks is, even when they are accurate, they are subject to change, and we don't know. The thing about it is, we just don't know what we're gonna get. So maybe they won't announce this. Maybe this was for nothing. Maybe they won't announce a Combat Evolved remake. Maybe they're not even working on one. You know, maybe they were at one time and the leaks were accurate, and now they're not. We don't know. We don't know. And that's where I think I'm going to leave this. I'm going to take a short break, and then we're going to play some video games. Alright, we're back in it. Cut that off. Wonder how many tries it will take for OBS to figure out Halo Infinite. You never know. You never know how long it's going to take your computer to figure out Halo Infinite. It took a little bit longer than I meant it to. It is what it is. When you have an elderly dog, you live on their schedule. I've heard this startup screen so many times, and I remember being so excited when this game came out. Oh no, have I updated GPU drivers? Hang on, let me just go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and move over to the game capture. I didn't think I had updated my GPU drivers since. Set this back up where I liked it earlier. I didn't think I had upgraded my GPU driver since last time I played this, but I guess I must have. What's that about? Oh, and I don't need to have these on here, do I? So we're just going to sit here, I suppose, and wait for my new CPU to compile all these shaders. I do not understand why this happens. Never understood why this happens. I don't even know that this necessarily is compiling shaders. You know, just based on like where it is in the game startup process, I think it probably is, but like I don't know that. I truly don't. And I'm just drinking water again tonight. I did have some water with a little bit of caffeine in it to get me ready for bed before I started talking about Combat Evolved. Oh yeah, this is my favorite part when it gets fast. Because it's been playing for longer than they think it would ever play on anybody's computer. I don't know why it does this. It's always done this. Sometimes it's after I update GPU drivers. I don't think I've updated GPU drivers since the last time I played, but I don't remember exactly. I guess it's possible. I'm pretty sure I didn't though. I love this. If this is compiling shaders, why do all games have to do that now? Why is it that all games have to do that now? I didn't ask you to do that. And I remember a time. Oh, don't mute it. And I remember a time back in my day, games just take forever to load off of spinning platter HDDs. I suppose this is better because sometimes it boots up very quickly. And at random, it decides it's going to take 20 minutes. I really should have started the game before I went on break, but I decided I wouldn't do that. I decided I would not do that today. I decided I would chance it. All right, we're almost there. That's huge. We're almost there. All right. We always got to be initializing data. That's my favorite. That's like my favorite hobby. And I love going back to this screen. It always makes me think it's reset my settings again. But I'm almost certain it didn't. Almost certain it didn't. No, it didn't. Yeah, so we're still in Survive the Undead. I guess the Halo 5 anniversary stuff hasn't happened quite yet. Do we play some Survive the Undead? I think we do some Survive the Undead. Wow, 12 seconds. That's pretty good. It's about as good as it gets. I mean, I don't know what that estimation is based on. The match... What? You see, that was like instant. The matchmaking system in this game has been absolutely gutted since day one. Absolutely gutted. I'll be honest, I'm not 100% sure how I feel about Survive the Undead. Something that has always bugged me about a lot of free-for-all or survival modes in this game, something that's bugged me for a while, is the HUD, the interface, cannot comprehend a game in which it's not two teams playing Slayer against each other. Oh, this guy's just gonna be doing nothing, I see. You know, so it's like, it looks like there's two teams down there at the bottom, which has always bugged me a lot more than it should. Oh, that guy's not AFK anymore. Great. We love that. Like, broadly speaking, I think I really enjoy this mode. It's... You feel the Forge jank sometimes. Like, the tools are just not quite powerful enough. How many points do I have? I will take a commando, actually. Like, yeah, like, it's almost like the Forge tools are just not quite powerful enough to do what they're trying to do with it. Got a good 18 hunge. We love a good 18 hunge. Not enough for a weapon upgrade, but perhaps a damage upgrade. Maybe a couple of damage upgrades. And an ammo refill, maybe? Oh, I just got all my ammo back. Great. I'll be honest, I'm not 100% what causes that, or 100% sure what causes that. Maybe someone got a max ammo? See, these are the things. It's like, things just kind of happen. And I'm not entirely certain why. I did not realize until this run of Survive the Undead that you can pack-a-punch your guns more than once. Like, each has like 2 or 3 even, maybe? Like, that's pretty wild. Oh!
Spartan eliminated. Mounted and loaded.
Oh my god! Maybe I save for Pack-a-Punch. Maybe we get 1 health and then save for Pack-a-Punch. That feels responsible. Oh, I need to turn on my friggin' controller overlay. Ooh. They're getting a little close. Getting a little close. I do like this. I do like the music and the way it's used in this, though.
Intermission.
Yeah, I also don't know if it's just a feature of the Pack-a-Punch, making your guns have unlimited ammo for a minute.
Wave start.
But it certainly seems to be a feature. Whoa!
Your team just scored.
Yeah, I still have unlimited ammo for some reason. Like, I'll take it, I just don't really understand why. And now I'm back to limited. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, I need a speed upgrade.
Wave start. Level up.
Give me the, okay.
Spray and pray. 30 seconds.
Oh! I do be needing ammo.
Intermission.
Okay, what am I at? 15. Regrettably, I do need another health upgrade. I may as well grab speed as well.
Level up.
Problem with this specific upgrade to the commando is it just chews through ammo. Oh, it doesn't have a scope anymore. That's funny. Sidekick is still kind of doing work at this stage. But not for much longer, I reckon. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Almost there. Do I Pack-a-Punch this again, or do I do... I think I do the sidekick next. Oh, well... I guess I don't do any of that. Oh, he's just playing box. Do I still have my upgrades? No. Ooh, that's really not good. So let's grab... Everything's half price. That's perfect. So let's grab that. And... that. Health, health. Oh, there's another one. There's another boss. There's another boss. Oh, this works differently. What is this?
Your team just scored.
What was I thinking with the shotgun? Oh, it's a BR. It's the obvious choice. All right.
Wave start.
Whoops. Thought I was being smart. he got? He's got Scorch Shot and Sidekick. Oh, he's upgraded his Sidekick a bit, but he's still running AR Sidekick. I'm sorry. Yeah, hitting box a couple times is probably the answer in most cases, huh? These guys are probably going to be fine. They seem like they're doing okay. I could just leave. Like, why am I even here, honestly? That gonna do it? That is gonna do it. Wow, okay, I'm starting with not a lot. Okay, so maybe... Jeez, I don't know. Maybe... Ammo... There's damage. Damage is over this way. I think it's maybe ammo, damage, and then one of the upgrades is cheap enough for me to afford it right now. Oh my God, he knows. What? Whoa. Man, you just snowball. You just snowball. Man, you die and it's just over. I guess that makes sense thinking about it. Like, I didn't have enough to pack a punch, so it was just like, what do I do? And he's still going for box pulls. Oh, okay. Well, he got a pretty good one. He got a less good one out of that. That could be good. I don't know what that pack-a-punch is into. Or, I'm sorry, weapon upgrades into. Well, now the cat is losing his mind to get in. I'm a new cat owner. So all of these things are alien to me. Yeah, I just don't even really need to be here. They would be wasting their points reviving me. I understand why they haven't been. How do I... How do I not die immediately? Maybe one of these guys will be cool. It's hard to say. It feels like everything just turns into a disruptor or a shock rifle. I mean, the chain damage and stun is huge. Okay, how much is health? So I can do an upgrade. I can grab that.
Wave start.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Ultimate bro. Ultimate bro. What in the hell is this? Pretty good. Ooh, ooh. Oh wait, I haven't set my thing yet.
Intermission.
Your team just scored.
Feeling
Okay.
lucky.
Half price, half price, half price, half price, half price, half price. Damage.
Level up. Level up. Wave start.
I can get at least one of these, right?
Level up.
I can't believe they actually donated points to me. That's nuts. Oh, that's a problem. Oh, fuck. Come on. These guys know how to play this game. Oh, is other dude dead as well? Ooh, this guy's on his own. Tangible Rain might be in trouble. What has been really benefiting these guys is that there's two guys who are very lethal. Hyper lethal, one might even say. I won't, but one might. Oh, I remember the Space Forge Campus. Forge Campus? Forge Canvas? I wish we still had that. I missed that.
Spartan eliminated.
I can't help but feel partially responsible for that. No, don't show me. Don't show me. I don't want to. I don't want to see that. You know, it's like, yeah, for as much as that is neat, I just don't find that as compelling as Arena. There's something wrong with me. I wish there were kind of just Halloween maps in Arena. You know? Halloween. I do think it's funny that just because of how ridiculous the matchmaking is in Infinite, it takes longer to get into Arena than it does into COD Zombies. Oh wow, VIP. It's relatively new to Infinite. Something that I didn't really mention, talking about, you know, like, I think the next competitive multiplayer Halo thing should unquestionably have persistent lobbies. Having to re-queue every time, I think, really exacerbates problems people have with skill-based matchmaking. Why do I have a wall? Did I pick up a wall, or we just spawned with walls? Whoops. I hope I wasn't the VIP. Could have been. Maybe I should be protecting ours. Oh, he's got a shotgun. Yep. It'll do it. Isn't this just better? like the Call of Duty Zombies thing is really neat and people seem to really like it, but this is just better, man.
Enemy VIP eliminated.
Oh. Give me that bulldog.
New VIP. Enemy VIP eliminated. Your VIP eliminated. New VIP. New
Oh, I shouldn't have jumped. But I did anyway. Oh!
Enemy VIP eliminated. Your VIP eliminated.
I just have this impulse to jump. When I'm playing and kind of just like absent-mindedly playing, I have this impulse to jump that I should not have.
VIP.
And yet, oh, this should not, I should not be trusted with this. Uh-oh. I didn't have any help. Maybe that's how the VIP has been feeling this entire game about me. But I didn't have any help. Oh, nice. Yeah, that'll protect you for sure. For sure, buddy.
Your VIP eliminated. Enemy VIP eliminated.
Is anybody out here still using the Heatwave and Duckbill mode? I will on very rare occasion, but almost never. I'm the VIP. Oh, Christ. This is not ranked. I can grenade my own teammates and it's fine. I might just hang out down here. You know what? Don't chase it. Don't chase it. I'm not trying to get kills as the VIP necessarily. Oh my god. I'm just gonna hang out down here. This seems like a good spot. Got everything I need. Where am I going? Where am I trying to go right now? Tell you where? Nowhere. Don't even sprint. Honestly, don't even bother. That actually would have been a good use of duck bill mode.
Double kill.
This is crazy. This is busted. This spot, this little table has saved me like a couple of times already. I should not have access to this.
Eliminated.
Oh my god, I'm gonna have overshield in a second. I'm just camping. I didn't even realize I was camping overshield.
New VIP.
That's how good this spot is. I didn't even realize it. You know I gotta get that sniper rifle though.
Eliminated. New VIP.
No, don't you get overshield. What the hell are you doing?
Deal.
What is wrong with you? What am I doing? Oh, he's coming. Oh, he's coming. He's trying to bait us out. Just bait him right back.
Enemy VIP eliminated. New VIP.
Ooh, that did hurt a bit. This might be it.
VIP eliminated. Enemy VIP eliminated. Nearing victory. New VIP.
Yeah, sniping in the cave was never gonna work that well, was it?
5 minutes remaining.
Yeah.
New VIP.
Well, that's unfortunate for him. I don't even know what to make of that. Truthfully, I don't know what to make of that. That was very strange. I'll take it, though. We were definitely winning. That spot in the caves on that map is completely busted. They should not let you do that. The extra cover underground. I mean, I guess they can come from like 4 different spots, but there's only going to be 4 players on an enemy team on that map. Maybe they shouldn't let me do that, is all I'm saying. I'm like an IKEA Spartan. I don't know how I'm feeling about the blue visor. I thought I really liked the blue visor with this setup. I'm not crazy about it. I might just go back to like a gold of some kind. Oh, I'm running out of time. Yeah, that'll work. Not really what I was looking for, but that's fine. I do think that's better. Yeah, the problem with like Reach introducing the idea of changing your visor color and then like making a live service game where you have to sell little insignificant cosmetics over and over again is you get 1,000 visor colors, and I'll tell you which one is the best one. It's the gold visor that all Spartans used to have. The original trilogy gold. I'm turning into Unk. This is some of my most Unk takes, it turns out, are probably Halo takes, but I do think that the gold looks the best. Like they don't need to be glowy. They don't need to be all kinds of crazy colors. Oh, just Team Snipers. Oh shit. You can't YY in Team Snipers. Got him. Got him in one. You didn't see the rest of those shots. Hey, you know, I'm winning these fights. I will take it. I'm winning these fights. Why is this so tense? Oh shit! Dude, what if the big announcement is just Halo Infinite multiplayer on PS5? Like, it could be. I think that's, oh, that's feeling more and more likely, isn't it? That's feeling more and more likely. Ooh. That's good. That was a good scan. Okay, there's nobody there, so I forgot. I actually did forget about the map gimmick on this map. This is like a very, I mean, I like this map a lot. I bet you like really competitive players don't like it, but I like this map a lot. It has a lot of stuff in it. I like when a map has a lot of goofy stuff in it. We got grav lifts, we got man cannons, we got a weird low gravity inviso area that makes you inviso. I like that. I like all that. Oh. I'm not that good at snipers. I guess I'm at a point in my life, like, I'll never be mint, but what? Oh, maybe I'm mint blitz. Maybe I'm mint blitz. I was just about to doubt myself, and then I got that. Oh, and I got that. Maybe I am mint blitz. Maybe I am. I'm missing the accent, but I can fix that. I can fix that. Hit him with the, that's, you know, not as good, not as good, not as good. Doesn't deserve it. There he is. Got him. Oh!
Way to victory.
Not it. Just not it. I did get him in an impressive way. This is what I'm saying. Is Infinite's like it takes the stuff that worked about like every previous Halo game, even 5. We have the thrust. It's just limited and a map pickup. Like, these are things that I really hope they don't throw out with whatever the next game is. Like, I hope they understand what made this work as well as it did. And they don't throw it all out. I think there's a lot of good here. A lot of good design here. When it comes to movement, gunplay, equipment, all of it. That they should really hold on to. Not saying it's all perfect, you know. Some improvements could be made, but I want iterative improvements on this and not just throwing it all out. Every single one of 343's games feels radically different to play because they just threw it all out when they started making the new game, which is, it makes sense because they've all been trash. But this is the first time they've made a not trash game, and so I hope that the next thing has some Infinite DNA in it. Oh! Ah!
Lost the lead.
My name is Remy. I live in Australia. I play Halo at 300 ping. And I am a god. That's a friend. Fuck. Oh, also it should have teammate collision and friendly fire. Like that. It's another completely insane thing to remove. Oh, I see him. Peek it. Oh, he did. I wasn't ready. I thought I was. Well, I'm not going back that way. Didn't matter. It was right there. That was such an easy shot. Jumping is such a bad idea in this mode. Against competent players. There I go, doing it again. I'll take it. We take those. It's a spare, not a strike, but I'll take it.
5 minutes remaining.
Oh. No friendly fire, I can do whatever I want. It's interesting. I do feel like in maybe the late 2010s there was this push for multiplayer games to not have like social features because people were terrible with them. Gamers can't be trusted with social features, which like to a certain extent is true. For sure. You know, like a game like Apex Legends is made explicitly for people who don't want to communicate using, well, for people who explicitly do not want to communicate using voice chat while playing a competitive shooter. And like to be, oh, I think we just traded. And like to be clear, like Apex did a great job of that, but I think that was sort of like symbolic of a greater shift away from more direct lines of communication. You know, like that leads into voice chat in Halo being like kind of unusable and, you know, lacking social features because it was becoming normal for people not to want that stuff in Halo anymore. Or, I'm sorry, not becoming normal for people not to want stuff like that in games anymore. And, like, to a certain extent, like, yeah, like, people were using it to say some, like, truly horrendous stuff to people online. And like, that's obviously bad. But I don't know, man. I haven't made a friend playing Halo since I was, like, 15. And that's when Halo games started getting bad. So, like, coincidence? I don't know what I'm talking about.
Slain.
Am I gonna have to take snipers out of the multi-queue? I might have to. I did not think I would get 2 snipers games in a row. I bet it's the same guys. Oh, no, he wasn't in it. No, people are just playing snipers tonight. I mean, that's fine. See, here's the thing, is I did, like, moderately well last game, so this is gonna be bad. Oh, yeah, but my theory about skill-based matchmaking, I think it would actually be completely fine. You don't have to change a thing about the... Whoa! About the algorithm. Just make lobbies persistent. I think a lot of the problems with skill-based matchmaking come from the fact that we are having to re-queue every match. You would have much more gentler... You would have much more gentle... adjustments to the skill of your matches if you stay in the same lobby, you know, because everyone's skill rating would be being updated dynamically, and which would affect the average skill rating of the lobby, which would affect, you know, what new players get put into that lobby as they go into matchmaking. You know, but you would just be steadily ratcheting the skill rating of a lobby up and down over time, rather than what it is now, where a relatively minor raising or lowering of your MMR, your hidden MMR, results in extreme changes from game to game. And I think a lot of it is because you're having to queue every time. You know, you're having to hit that matchmaking algorithm over and over and over again. And, like, to be clear, I don't think that that's how it should be for, like, competitive matchmaking. I think competitive matchmaking, having to queue every time, is good. I see why they left. This kind of sucks. I knew that's how this was gonna go. Like ranked, you should have to re-queue every time. I think that actually makes sense to hit the matchmaker every time for that. But for casual games, for what used to be called social games, I actually think we shouldn't be hitting having to queue for every single match. And I think that would kind of solve a lot of the problems that people have with SBMM if you can stay in a lobby. Like, maybe I'm wrong about that, but I feel like I don't think people were talking about skill-based matchmaking until we had games where you were forced to re-queue every time. I don't think there was really a conversation about it until then. Like, yeah, it should, like, their skill should be a consideration when matching players together. Like, absolutely. Unfortunately, the way that a lot of games do it is resulting in games like this, where, like, I was doing okay last match, so we get stomped this match. Like, that's... Okay, well, that... Yeah, we get absolutely stomped this match because I did okay last match. Like, that's like, so clearly too much. It's just me and 3 bots. Yeah, you know what? I don't think you get penalized if half your team or more quits first. Oh, wait, I'm taking team snipers out of the thing. I'm not that good at snipers. I was going to play some ranked tonight, but I don't know how confident I feel about ranked at the moment. I don't know how confident I feel about that. I don't know exactly when the next time I will stream will be, but I'm at the moment considering one of a handful of spooky games for next time. I'm kind of just thinking I try to speedrun normal mode in Resident Evil 4 Remake. But I also kind of think maybe I want to hold off on that until I have a bigger following. Like, I think that would be more fun with, like, more folks in chat and such. Maybe I just do it anyway. I don't know. I mean, that's like the main one in the running. It's basically just Resident Evil games that are in the running. It's basically just Resident Evil games, and, like, RE4 Remake is, like, kind of the main one that I'm thinking. Not an exceptionally spooky game. Crow Country is one that I'm thinking about. I haven't actually... I've never finished Crow Country, so maybe that would be a good excuse to do that. I don't have a lot of spooky games that I, like, really like. It really just is determined by how close to Resident Evil 4, or Resident Evil it is, in gameplay and tone. Yeah, I'll take Husky Raid over Team Snipers. Absolutely any day of the week. Absolutely love Husky Raid. Brother, I can't get enough Husky Raid. I like how some of the later Husky Raid maps got like pretty conceptual with it. Like this is pretty out there for Husky Raid. This has like multiple lanes, kind of.
Target spot.
I mean, this is fine. I'm just gonna do this. Oh. I love that in Husky Raid and almost Husky Raid alone can you grapple while holding the flag. They're like, we're just here for a good time. We don't really care how balanced that is. In anything remotely competitive, you should not be allowed to do that. But like in Husky Raid, who cares? See, this is what I'm. So, like, that's kind of what I'm saying. Well, I haven't been saying that today, but it's what I'm saying generally. When it comes to building games to have competitive scenes and casual scenes, the competitive players will just omit the things they don't like. It's like, yeah, a competitive audience wouldn't be crazy about the idea of being able to grapple while holding a flag. Okay, so they just can't do that in competitive modes. You know? It's like, oh, we think that the Bulldog is actually, like, pretty bad for competitive because it's like, it's basically an energy sword but cheaper. Okay, so take it out. So take it out of competitive. You know, we think that the randomness of automatics gives too much RNG for competitive modes. Okay, then they just take it out. You know, but in casual modes, in social modes, those things are fine. The casual players, or the competitive players, will just remove the things they don't like as long as they are empowered to do that. This is another problem, though, also with having competitive scenes that are run by a game's developer or publisher, because you have this kind of perverse incentive to, like, you want to the competitive scene becomes a marketing effort. Wow, that was very funny. The competitive scene becomes a marketing effort for the game, which, like, theoretically is like fine, but if competitive players are choosing to omit a majority of the total sandbox of a game, you get this problem where, you know, suddenly it's not actually that good marketing for the game. It's like they use like 2 guns and they play on like 3 maps. Well, that's not very good. We need to make changes to the game, even if those competitive players are really enjoying that experience competitively. It's not showing off the game. It's not showing off content that we made for the game. So we need to add things and change things that appease the competitive players who were happily playing their stripped down version of the game. You know, if the competitive scene was community run, then it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter that they only use 2 guns on 3 maps. If those 2 guns on 3 maps are fun to play and spectate, it's fine. You know, that's like it's like Smash Brothers. You know, like Melee. I mean, so much of the game is omitted. The competitive Melee is a tiny subset of the entire experience that Melee has in it. But that's fine. Competitive Melee is... Nintendo is overtly hostile to competitive Melee. Competitive Melee is not a sponsored marketing arm of Nintendo. So it doesn't really matter how much or how little of the game they actually play in competitive events. But for Smash Ultimate, it kind of does matter. Like, they're not actively marketing Smash Ultimate right now, but like back when they were, it's like the competitive scene was kind of a marketing arm for that. You know, that's much bigger for games where the developer and publisher actually support the competitive scene. You know. You know, now we're not just talking about the difference between passive and overtly hostile. We're talking about like putting money into prize pools or running their own tournaments. You know, like the Overwatch League is kind of what ruined Overwatch. Because the Overwatch League was a marketing effort from Blizzard for Overwatch. And they weren't happy with how people were playing the game at a competitive level. It didn't matter how people were playing it at a casual level. And also it did kind of matter how people were playing at a casual level, because casuals were watching Overwatch League. And so, you know, what the strategies that Blizzard was seeing in Overwatch League are what were marketing the game to casuals and people outside of the game, even in some cases, I have to assume. You know, you can't have strategies that Blizzard doesn't like running competitive, and so they're going to make changes to accommodate what they see as how Overwatch should be played at a competitive level. I haven't, now to be clear, I don't know what in the hell Overwatch is doing these days. I dipped in very briefly when Overwatch 2 came out because it was free. I don't like the idea of buying characters in Overwatch, which is kind of why I still haven't gone back to touching it. Like the idea that like on my account, if I opened up the game right now, I'd be missing like 3 or 4 characters. No, like that's insane. That's so not what, well, that's so not what Overwatch should be. And so I don't want to play it. You know, it's interesting now that Overwatch League is canceled, now that Overwatch League is over. Now their marketing is totally different. You know, it's anime collabs and selling characters. It's an interesting shift to see. You know, Overwatch 2 is not about the competitive scene, or as far as I can tell, it isn't. I don't think they've brought back OWL, but Overwatch 1 was very much about the competitive scene, the competitive experience. Honestly, like, I'm thinking about it now, I hadn't really thought about that, but that is really what the biggest difference is. From someone who used to be inside Overwatch and is no longer, that seems to be what the biggest difference is between 1 and 2, is the focus on competitive being, you know, your big marketing push versus collabs for microtransactions. You know, and honestly, like, I see, like, Gundam stuff and, like, My Hero Academia stuff and, like, Persona 5 stuff in Overwatch, and I'm just like, there's a lot of fandom overlap there, so I kind of understand why they're doing it, but I don't really want to play that. Like, that seems like that's all they're doing with Overwatch. I don't know why I'm playing Halo and talking about Overwatch, but I was talking about competitive scenes. That's right. You know, how I think that am I stuck with this? Oh my god, he got me with the with the sensor dart. But yeah, you make a broad enough sandbox for your game and be okay with the fact that competitive players are going to omit less competitive elements. Whatever competitive elements mean to that community is also going to be different game to game, but you know, what the things that the competitive community don't like, as long as they are empowered within, you know, rule sets to omit those things, then it's fine. And largely that kind of feels like how Halo has been, you know, for the last couple of years at least. In, you know, the competitive scene doesn't like something, that's fine. Like, the competitive scene doesn't like something, who cares? They'll take it out from competitive rule sets, and we can continue to play the game at a casual level the way that we always have. You know, 5... I didn't play 5 very much, because I don't like it. I think it's quite bad. But... you know, 5 was very much built around competitive play. 343 had a couple of issues that I really hope that the Switch, the name change is representative of, like, changes in their game design philosophy. Like I hope that the name change is representative of a few changes. One of those is, yeah, calling Halo a competitive game. Like they used to always be talking about like Halo's a really competitive game at its core, and it's like for some people, sure, yeah, not everybody who plays Halo plays it competitively. In fact, most people don't. Like Husky Raid is very close to the way that most people want to be playing Halo, I think. Like, ranked is fun, but I think this is closer to the kind of experience that people are looking for out of Halo most of the time. It's not a very serious competitive game for most people. But if you make a sandbox that's robust enough, you can make a competitive game out of something like this. And, like, largely, I think that with Infinite is what they've done. Wow, that did not go great, did it? Yeah, and I think with Infinite, that's largely what they've done. Like, they've supported a competitive scene despite everything. But also we get new sandbox elements that are mostly for casuals. Mostly for casual play. Mostly for what would have been called social play a decade ago. More than a decade ago. Because there were no unranked arena playlists in Halo 5 at launch. So more than a decade ago. But I think I know the reason that 343 did that. I think I know why. And it's because... why is that? Oh, it's because of Halo 4. Halo 4 was extremely built around casuals to the point that it was, you know, it was really just kind of trying to be Call of Duty for the most part, especially in the multiplayer. And people really rejected that. You look at player retention graphs for Halo 4, and it is a cliff. People really rejected that. And the lesson that 343 took away from that was, oh, people don't like casual Halo. People want competitive back. People want competitive Halo back, and like that's not the way to do it. That's just not the way to do it. That just ain't the way to do it. Like Halo contains multitudes. That's why people like it, you know? Like, it can be a competitive game. It can be, you know, a narrative-heavy, linear action thing. It can be a very competitive game to play professionally. You know, there have been a select few human beings who have been allowed to play Halo professionally because it has the bones of being a serious business competitive game. I stand by that plan. That was, like, never going to end well, but I stand by that plan that I had. Oh my god, I got one. Gimme, 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 gimme. I pushed it further back. Fuck. Almost exactly the same loadout twice in a row. That's rare. Oh no, this is a fuel rod. Not rockets. Yeah, grenades will do that. Grenades will do that. For sure. I should not be here. I'm gonna need somebody to kill one of these guys. Ooh, ooh, this is perfect. They don't know. They don't know. Oh. And then they learned.
Enemy flag returned.
I don't know what the plan was. I truly don't. At least give me thruster. Didn't know he was there, did I? I sure didn't. I sure did not know he was there. Oh! Balancing a social game for competitive is the reason that we have two different sensor darts that work very slightly differently, and I think look exactly the same in the UI. That would have been a collateral. I bet you. We are really stalemated in this one. I feel like that's about to change.
Double kill. Enemy captured your flag. Triple kill.
Aww. It's like I was saying earlier about Forge maps, like you can tell. Like there's a certain level of muck that is pervasive on Forge maps. Oh my god. What? One of y'all better. Okay. My sacrifice cannot have been in vain. There we go. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Nope. You just get a grand slam? Oh, that's a problem. Once you get one of those grab hams in the back line, it is the grab ham in the backhand. We got a backhand situation here. Category 5 backhand event over here. Wow, that's rough. That's so bad. When that happens, you can't let that happen. So let's go. What? One of y'all gotta be in there. Hey, there was! Ooh. Ooh, okay. Did they make the repair field better? At least for players? I think they might have. What? I didn't even hear that coming. I didn't see or hear that coming at all. I was just dead. There we go. Let's get some AoE. Let's get some area denial. Let's get some DOT. Let's get some aggro on the mobs. And that's all the ammo I had for that. Made some progress with it. What in the hell? Sword. Are we not? Okay. What was the plan there, guys? You're just gonna let him. I did all that for nothing. Okay. Waiting for them shields. I did forget. I don't think I even actually picked it up. Does a single one of you guys want to tell me what the plan is here? Because I feel like the plan is not win. But I don't know what else we would be trying to do right now. Where? Oh. Nope, I'm getting out of there. I'm getting all the way out of there. He's coming. Yeah. Ooh. One of y'all get it. One of y'all get it. Come on. What are we doing? What is the plan here? I would love to know what the plan is.
Flag return. 1 minute remaining.
Wow! From downtown with the steel chair. Grappling hook. Grand slam.
Double kill.
I like the commando rifle. I'll say it.
30 seconds remaining.
Big commando rifle fan over here, guys. Folks. Big fan of it, actually. I think it's pretty good. Quite fun to use, in fact.
10 seconds.
Wow, we're really going into OT in this game of Husky Raid. This is what we're doing right now. That was not the one I needed to be getting. I got him.
No scope. Double kill.
He's trying to get behind us with the spawns. Have the animations on the mutilator always just felt off to anyone else? Like they don't really match. Like I don't dislike them, but it just doesn't, I don't know, like it's too floaty. Like the animations in Infinite are like pretty rigid as like a stylistic thing. Like I don't think it's bad, it's how they look. But then the mutilator is all like about it, and that's doesn't really fit. Very much evidence of a gun that was like almost done but had to be abandoned at some point, and then they just kind of like polished up what had been finished. You know, there wasn't like an extra pass to make sure that the animations and everything fit with what existed previously. But there hasn't been a single animator on staff for Halo Infinite for like over a year at this point. So the fact that we're getting anything is crazy. The fact that we've had any new guns or vehicles in the past like 16 months is kind of incredible. What the fuck? Okay. That's what the thruster's for. One of y'all, come on, come on.
Enemy flag returned.
What? Are we really gonna... No, and we're gonna lose it at the last second because of that. That's Husky Raid. I mean, there's no way. Yeah, because their team actually wants to cap. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they sure do. Well, it's getting late, y'all. I'm going to have to pack it in. That is going to do it for us tonight. I've got to chop the presentation up and make that a main channel video and then shove on off to bed, I think.